because she's probably gone through the same amount of shit that your mom went through, and treat her as if she were me. Because her male issues are not going to start with you. They're going to start with her father and her uncles and that creepy teacher that touched her at PE class. It's going to start way back then. And when you go into your fields, and when you're talking to your friends, when you're looking at your family members, and when you're talking to yourself, really examine what abuse is, who's going through it, and how long they've been going through it. It's not an incident. You will make things called incident reports. Police make them. I have plenty of them in my files. All these incident reports. When the police were called to my house during my first marriage, when he was beating the shit out of me, second marriage, all my relationships, when there's always some violence, and they make this incident report. And I wish it was a fucking lifetime report, where I could just sit down and explain to you where all this shit started. So I'm not just a file and a case number. I've been all those things. I've had my son taken from me. I've had police at my house. I've been arrested for domestic. I've been in jail for this shit. And you know why I was in jail? Because my son's father was beating me, and I threw a glass at him. Just a glass, a drinking glass. I'm running through the house. He's 245 pounds. I'm 17 years old. He's 10 years older than me. I'm running through this house, and he's beating me. He's like a fucking silverback gorilla, and he's pounding the shit out of me. And I get to the bathroom. I go through there. I go to the kitchen. I'm circling the pool table. I'm up and down the stairs. I'm running around for my fucking life in the state of Arizona. And I get to the kitchen, and just to get him off of me, I start throwing glasses on the floor, breaking them to create a circle of broken glass around me because he's barefoot. I have nothing else. And the police come to my house and they say, who broke the glass? She did. Well, you're going to jail, ma'am. That's what I did. I broke every fucking glass in the house. Yeah, you're fucking right, I did. Because this man is trying to kill me. This is the same man who beat me until I passed out. This is the same man who punched me in my kidney, shut all, I don't know if you guys know this. You see this in boxing. If you punch someone in the kidney, which is on your right side, it shuts all their organs down. You cannot breathe. Your lungs cannot inflate. You can't do anything. You see it all the time. In prize fights, one shot to the kidney and you're done. This is a man who did that to me. And if my neighbor wasn't a nurse and hadn't given me CPR, I'd be dead. This is when I'm 19 years old. I've taken you from 5 to 19 and beyond. This is a lifetime. And when the police finally came, oh my God, thank God the police are here. Listen, Mr. Officer, he's been chasing me around the house with this stick, and he's got a gun upstairs. He's got a loaded fucking gun upstairs. But I'm going to go to jail because I broke a glass or 2 or 20, I don't fucking know, but I broke it to keep him out of the kitchen so he doesn't beat me to death. But I'm going to go to jail. Cool. A lot of times, the victim pays and they become the villain. There are cycles of abuse in each of these stories. My son's father, for instance, his father beat his mother. He witnessed that. He saw that. He became an abuser. Same thing with my first husband. He saw that. He witnessed that. He became an abuser. That's his cycle. My cycle. I've been a victim my whole life. My mother was abused in different ways, but still abused, and so she abused me. Her mother was abused. Her mother before her. Everyone has been beaten and abused. And so there's abusers and there's abusees, and there's 2 different cycles happening at the same time. And when you get these people together, death happens. There's been so much commentary about domestic violence most recently. And we all know the question that everyone asks. Why doesn't she just leave? It happens to men too. What if this little boy Eric that I hit in 5th grade, what if he grew up saying women hit on him? Because I did that. Because I hit him and blackened his eye, and then I made him afraid to tell. He could be an abused husband somewhere right now. It happens to men too. But that's funny to people. So they don't say anything because it's so hilarious when a man gets beat up by a woman. So funny. Until there's a show called Snapped on Oxygen where men are literally getting killed by women all the time. And that show has not run out of new episodes because it's happening all the time. It's all funny. It's all fun and games when someone's dead. It's all so funny. The men are dying at the hands of women who have had enough. And it's not that man's fault. It's not that he was so horrible. It's that she's had this history that maybe he doesn't even know about. And then he comes along and sure, he's a jerk. But does he deserve to be murdered? Because he's a jerk? If I murdered all the jerks I know, there'd be a lot less men in the world. You don't go around just murdering jerks. You just leave them alone. But as I teach my son, you're not the first. And whether it was her father or a boyfriend or someone, whatever it was, you have to realize that you can be the straw that breaks someone's emotional back. And then you're an episode of Snapped. I don't want that for my son. I don't want that for me. I don't want that for anyone. So I want people to begin to empathize with abuse victims and survivors and realizing that even though we fill out these little pretty things called incident reports, it's not an incident. It's not a thing that happened. It's a language that's being spoken. It's a culture that is being perpetuated. It goes on for 10s and 20s and hundreds of years where people are passing down this genetic coding. It becomes part of your wiring. And it takes a lot. It takes more than a village to defragment this culture, this history, this learning, this language. It's like if anyone comes here and they speak a different language, you know what it takes to learn a whole new language? Let me drop you in Germany and let you figure it out. You don't know unless someone teaches you, and there are tools and skills and things that need to be taught, and people aren't getting that education. So as you go into fields of service especially, you have the power to educate people about what's happening to them, because just because it's happening to them doesn't mean they know what's happening to them. I didn't know that this was wrong because it had always happened. It didn't seem strange to me at all. Not one bit. It's just the way things are. It's just life. It's always been life. Since I could remember, it's been life. And someone had to teach me it was wrong. When my first husband was beating me with his belt, and my son barged in. He said, "Is everything all right in here?" I think that one of the first times when it hit me that it was wrong. My son's 12 at the time, and I was like, he knows this is wrong, which is why he's barging in here trying to help me, and he can't help me because he's